In honor of Creed Humphreys, I printed out this shirt on Amazon and got it. This is my shirt for the podcast in honor of his Ravens and Chiefs shirts. And this is episode number 135 of For the Fan. As always, I am Will. And we got Colton, Jake, and Dom here. Gentlemen, hello.
I love that, actually.
That's great. I really hope
that really is
that
great.
Creed has a shirt for every game.
Yeah.
It's in the same font and everything. I think I found his Amazon seller that he bought it from.
That is actually so great. I love that so much.
If I wish I put it up a little higher, then I don't have to keep on like flexing my shirt to be like, hey, here it is. Hey. But yes, week one, college football, several days of football. Thursday night, Friday night, college all day Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I don't know. All we need is the machination to be playing Tuesday, Wednesday games, and boom, we got our 7 days of the week covered in sports. But how was everyone's football Sunday / weekend? Colton, I think yours must have not been that well considering the Saturday matchup against Texas. Go blue.
My man, everything's gravy for Michigan. I got a natty from last year. Everything is gravy here. So I'm a very happy man. Expectations are very low. Go blue. Hey, go Berg. Go Berg. It was a good weekend. Week one win. We always take week one dubs. Right, Dom? Who expected a week one dub out of your Pats, huh?
Yeah, that was.
He's not all giddy. He just laughed. I'm not even taking a shot at you.
No.
Pats. Let's go, baby. Everybody here's happy but Will, and isn't that exactly how we like it?
I was shitting a brick during that entire Jets game, and then they kept on showing the replay. Leonard Floyd just targeting that ankle. I'm like, he is trying to injure him. He's not hiding it. He's not doing a bounty gate thing where he's getting paid for it. No, he's purposely just flying in for that ankle every time. How
about Jake Moody ruining people's weeks entirely? Jake Moody, if you were against Jake Moody in fantasy and you lost because of that, which a lot of people did apparently, whew, what a time. What a week one. That's how you want a week one.
Huge week for kickers, by the way.
Fairbairn,
Chris
in our
Boswell,
one league,
Jake
in our
Moody.
one league, we updated the kicking stats too. So it's pretty funny how the kicking stats are just like wild. Alrighty, but gentlemen, should we just get started here? Let's get the show on the road here. A lot of talk about here. You are listening to For the Fan.
You are listening to For the Fan.
But yes, episode number 135 is here. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok. Follow us down below there. YouTube For the Fan Network, TikTok For the Fan Network, Twitter and/or X For the Fan _, and Instagram For the Fan Football. A great week one. I think we can only get better from there. A lot of close matchups. Some by a toe, others by some crazy pass interference calls. Everything's just going down here. But speaking of weird non-call pass interference call, we're going to go starting out here with Kyler Murray's comments today on Marvin Harrison Jr., where he said it's not his job to feed him targets, to receiver Marvin Harrison, who finished Sunday's game with 1 catch for 4 yards. I believe he had 5 targets, and there were several all 22 footage of him being wide open, just up the sideline, middle of the field. There's no one within 10, 15 yards of him, and he's not getting the ball. Dom, if you want to pull up this quote here, and we can read it sound for sound, bar for bar, here we go. So as he mentions, as a quarterback, obviously, you're not going to go through your reads. Sometimes the ball goes to him, but that's not my job. I have a sense and a feel for guys when they don't get the ball and when they're getting the ball. But I leave that up to Drew Petzing, who is the Arizona Cardinals offensive coordinator. Now, gentlemen, as I bring us back here, what are your guys' thoughts on a quarterback who's getting paid, near $50 million? I think he's a hair under 50, and saying it's not his job to get him the football, but its job is to get people the football, to get first downs, drive down the field, score touchdowns as ultimately how it should go.
I think to really dissect what he said, okay, it's the offensive coordinator's job to call the plays. You call plays dependent, that puts him as a first read, whatever. Okay, sure. You're not incorrect. But like it's quite literally your job to get him the ball. And also like on that wide open play, like I feel like it's kind of on you to get him that ball. Also week 1 with a new rookie, and this is already a topic of conversation and you're already talking about it in a kind of defensive way is weird to me. That part's weird. Like what does that mean now for the rest of the season for the rest, like with a rookie? Like I don't.
All it means is he doesn't want to admit he was too short and couldn't see him.
It's just after 3 and 13 seasons basically.
3 and 3. I think 2, 4 and 13 seasons.
4 and 13. Oh,
yeah,
that would make sense. After 2, 4 and 13 seasons, the first week that happens with this great rookie, you're already like way too defensive of your game. I think that's crazy. I think that's a bad look for Kyler. Whether whether his reads just never got there, that's one thing. All right, cool. Whatever. You threw the ball to him 5 times in that game. Like that's not, but this is already being said by you to the media and to the world after week 1, after 2, 4 and 13 seasons. I don't like that. I think that's a bad look no matter how you cut it. So that's weird to me.
Yeah, I don't think this is that big of a deal. I think he's kind of right to an extent. You're not drawing up plays to get guys the ball. The ball's not always going to Marvin Harrison Jr. They have other weapons there like Trey McBride, James Conner. I think Michael Wilson scored a touchdown this weekend for them. So he's got other weapons. Sure, we'd all love to see Maserati Marv get the ball. It's week 1. The offenses looked like crap around the league. Can we stop? They actually put up points in that game, unlike every other football game this week. So can we pump the brakes on this? I hate that this is already a conversation after week 1. Like, we know what Kyler looks like when he has a legitimate receiver. Look what he did when he had D-Hop. Those guys put up elite numbers. Like, stop it. Pump the brakes. The fact that this is, oh my gosh, Colton, get it out. The fact that this is even a story is ridiculous. I don't care. No one cares about the freaking Cardinals and Marvin Harrison getting the ball. It's week 1. If we're at the end of the season, we're having discussions where he's got like 50 catches. All right, then it's like, okay, we have a problem. He's going to have over 100 receptions. Who cares? Please.
I agree with that. That's kind of what I'm saying too. Like, I don't like that this is it's week 1. Like, this doesn't even need to be a topic of conversation. You don't need to be that defensive about it. Like, just move on. Like, that's it. I just don't like it. I feel like it's in negative light already, and it's only week 1,
It also didn't help, too, that Kyler didn't play in the preseason, and Marvin Harrison, I believe, played very limited in the preseason. So as for a number 4 overall pick, like we've seen it from Jamar. He wasn't that good. We've seen it from Justin Jefferson. It took him a couple weeks to really get his feet under him and try to get a lot of stuff going on. Devonta Smith as well. I mean, when you get your star quarterback and your potential number 1 receiver for the future on the same field together, hopefully that can, spark up something and get more out of your team. But yeah, I don't know. The Cardinals did look good on all cylinders of the offense. It was just, okay, why aren't they getting the ball to Marvin Harrison? And then he's just dropping wide open passes or getting ducks thrown all over him.
I don't know. I just it does seem like the starters that didn't play in the preseason, like it seems like it was a clear difference, or like there was a clear adjustment that had to be made this week 1, which is kind of like hello, like that makes sense. Maybe you should have started your starters, kind of thing, at least a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like that's a factor. But again, ultimately, like Colton said, and like I was trying to say, like it's just I think it's a bad look. It's only week 1. If this was the end of the season or a few weeks in, at least it'd be a better situation. Like it'd be in, I just think everything around the Cardinals and then immediately week 1 for there to be some negative light on it already is crazy. Like that sucks. That's too much.
Oh, brother. Yeah. I mean, we could go to this other comment, too. If we are done talking about Kyler and him not getting the ball, we could go to the armpit of America where, the Giants and the Vikings played this past Sunday, and Jonathan Grenard had a couple comments about Daniel Jones where He put, end quote, let's find my cursor here.
Give me a second. I got it. I know
All
you.
right. He felt a little bit. I sent you the link in the private chat.
I know, but listen, all right. It's a little
Yeah.
complicated here. Give me a
Jonathan Grenard felt a little bad for Daniel Jones. I guess trying to get to him too many times, or Vikings dominating the Giants on Sunday. Colton, were you up there, or did you sell those tickets out?
So those tickets, I'll be seeing the Washington Commanders as my one game of the season.
I knew you were a Commanders fan. I knew it.
I'm not. I just don't like missing Steelers games, and if I went to this game, I'm missing the Steelers. Go Bird comes first, as always. But yeah, I don't feel bad for Daniel Jones. I don't care what anyone says. I don't feel bad for him. He's making a hell of a lot of money, more than he should be making. And the quarterback play is piss poor. Again, since his new contract, the stats are out there to everyone to see it. He's thrown more pick sixes than touchdown passes. Like, he sucks. He's dog water. I don't feel bad for him. No one should feel bad for Daniel Jones. He's making a boatload of money. He could have taken less money and had more talent put around him. Instead, he wanted the money. I don't feel bad for this idiot. Not one bit. No one should. I'm sorry. He's been babied. He's been this, that, and the other. Oh, Daniel this, Daniel that. Oh, they don't put weapons on. Bro, I don't care. He should have taken less money and had weapons put around him. He had Saquon Barkley all those years. Should have taken less money and had a receiver to tag along with him. And they didn't. Now Saquon's thriving in Philly. Xavier McKinney's making plays in Green Bay. Like, I don't care. I don't feel bad for the Giants. This is what they get. You overpay for Daniel Jones. You trot him out in those ugly jerseys, and this is what you get. Piss poor performance. I don't feel bad for Daniel Jones, and no one should. I don't know if it's just me ranting on this. I don't want to hear anymore about Daniel Jones and the Giants. Like, I don't give a rat's. I don't care. They're ass. I don't care. He sucks. He's overpaid. I don't care. That's what the market is. The Giants botched this whole process. The Giants should have re-signed Saquon Barkley and tagged Daniel Jones. Instead, they tagged Barkley and they gave Jones a contract, and they botched it. And this is what they get. And I'm over talking about this garbage because I could go on and on and on about the shit show at MetLife at the AC unit on Sunday.
I need to just I need to ask a question that's not directly related to this quote. How did the Giants give him the honor of wearing this captain patch again? If you want to pull that back up, Dom. He's a 5-year captain. He gets the gold patch on the jersey. Like, you have to be a captain for 5 years to get that. How did the Giants say, you know what? This guy's a leader. We have to give him the captain responsibilities again.
And don't the Giants have less captains this year? Isn't that like a thing?
Oh, I
They
don't know.
have
I just
one
noticed-
on offense, 2 on defense, and a special teamer.
Yeah.
So he's the offensive captain.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I
very.
mean, there's no one else in the team I think you can even give offensive responsibilities to as a captain. Maybe Andrew Thomas.
Yeah, literally, like maybe an offensive lineman.
They're definitely just like, oh, he's our quarterback, so therefore he has to be a captain because that's just how the Giants are.
Here's the thing. I think
That's how everyone is. I mean, how many times are we giving out rookie captains out here this season? I mean, it's just where we're going. The quarterback has to be captain. It's what it is.
I think what Colton said is kind of it. Like, listen, this is the 6th year of us harping on the exact same thing and reacting to week 1 the exact same way, of week 0 being mostly Giants fans, week 0 being like, okay, this is a make it or break it year. Like, yeah, let's give him a chance this year. Let's see where this goes. We have the contract, whatever. We put this on the team for him. Like, they have a good receiving core, so talented. And here we are with the same week 1 reaction or early season reaction as it's been for 6 or whatever years now of, oh, he didn't perform up to what we were hoping he'd perform to. This sucks. But now Giants fans are even so fed up with it that, and Greenard said this in his quote, that like the boos got so loud that that's what crowds sound like when you're on defense, when they're cheering for the offense and stuff like that or whatever, that the boos got so loud that he was like, I feel so bad for him. We're still doing what we're doing and we're locking him up and he ain't doing anything. But like, it got to a point where it was just like, dude, I just feel bad about how we're killing this dude. So that's embarrassing as a team, as an organization, as a fan base, as anything. And I don't like when fans boo their own team, especially after like a week 1, game 1 of a season. I'm not a fan of that. The Devils did it a couple of years back in game 1 of their season and blew my mind.
No. They deserve the boo, the Giants.
They
Sorry.
deserve it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They deserve it.
That's
'Cause-
exactly what I'm saying is like
Dom.
I don't like it, but this is justified. How many years in do we have to be? Like, this makes we're here now.
Well,
Like,
you're glossing over the fact that they were sold a whole bunch of propaganda and at Hard Knocks. Like,
Yeah.
we don't need Saquon Barkley. Like, it's going to be Danny Dimes' year. We're going to put him with weapons and he's going to succeed. Blah 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 blah. That you all heard throughout the entire Hard Knocks, and he comes out and he can't even get the ball out of them.
Yeah.
Like, he threw a touchdown pass, wasn't to his team.
Like I said, I
You
don't
know who
want to
did throw a
harp on it.
touchdown passes that game?
Oh my God! I see. Just
The-
leave
the-
again. Just
I've
leave
never
again. I don't
stopped
care.
believing. I've never stopped believing in
no
that man.
kidding. He's not your quarterback anymore. Who cares? He's
That
still
doesn't
ass.
mean
Play
I
the
can't.
Giants.
I can't want him to
He's
succeed.
gonna come back down to earth. He's gonna come back down to earth this week. You'll see. And then we'll go. And I'll remind you, where the hell is your Sam Darnold? Shirts and hats at this week. So I'll remind you next week when we.
I'll wear it
Decide to
next
see the
week.
ass
I'll
kick.
wear it next week. I don't give a damn. I'll wear his
Oh,
jersey
God.
next week.
I don't want to kick on it, but like they suck. They suck. I don't feel bad for this dude. I don't. I really don't. And this is what he gets. I'm not repeating myself again. He sucks. The Giants sucks.
Yeah.
Why are we still talking about these?
enough is enough.
bums?
Enough is enough.
You want to talk about the Panthers next? Is that what we want to slide into next?
I mean,
Like,
well, we're gonna.
holy
let's
cow!
go
Wanna
into the
keep talking
injury
about-
round. Let's go. Oh, I mean, we could go into the injury roundup here, where
Yeah,
Derek
because my
Brown-
eyes hurt. Because my eyes hurt. It's from watching the Carolina Panthers play.
yeah, the Derek Brown, they're really one of the bright spots on their team. Torn meniscus. He's gonna end up missing the rest of the year to that. Week 1 injuries, unfortunately, suck a lot. We're gonna go into Pittsburgh, where Russell Wilson was limited with a calf injury, but he might not be starting if he's healthy. It might be the Justin Fields show for a second straight week. I don't know how you're feeling about that, Colton, but 90 ticks before game time, you hear, oh, Russ isn't playing and it's Fields. I should have texted you, but I was also bombarded with 19 other things going on at once because it was the busiest hour in news.
Saturday they were even saying he might not play. So I mean, like, it wasn't like too big a surprise. It wasn't Christian
Well, no,
McCaffrey.
he traveled down, and it was like, okay, maybe he might play, and he's like warming up and all that stuff. It's like, oh, okay, maybe he might shift into playing, but
Nah, there was reports
Oh,
that,
you got
came
a
out
wish.
that Justin was playing. So sorry to tell. And starting week 2 apparently. So we'll take a little bit of Justin Fields down there in Denver.
nice little Justin Fields show up in Denver. No Russ revenge game, unfortunately. Maybe that could be a playoff game. Wink, wink, nod, nod. But this isn't Madden. The Browns placed four defensemen on injured reserve, starting with safety Juan Thorhill, Mohamed Diabit, Tony Field II, and Maurice Hurst II. After a very I don't know what kind of game that was. They played against the Cowboys, but it was not football. Then we shift down to Miami. Raheem Mostert is out with a chest injury on a very short week against the Buffalo Bills. Achane, who has an ankle injury, is a game-time decision. Josh Allen hurt his hand over the Air Allen leap over Budda Baker. He's projected to play, but Teron Johnson, forearm, and Dwan Smoot with a toe are not going to be playing for the Bills Thursday night. Another injury to Jonah Williams for the Cardinals. Right tackle is going to be on injured reserve. The Rams placed Steven Avila, Puka Nakua, and Joe Noteboom all on injured reserve. They signed Jerron Christian, Dylan McMahon, while adding Akilo Witherspoon to their practice squad. They steal the center that the Eagles drafted in the 6th round this year off their practice squad. Smooped him right up, brought him right to the main roster. Jake, not a lot of smiles from you.
Mad.
That sucks. Honestly.
And let's also mention this too. Christian McCaffrey, who was a very surprise late scratch going into Monday Night Football, might not play week 2, but he was a limited participant in practice. He's dealing with Achilles tendonitis or something really odd among those nature, but he's not an injured reserve candidate. But by the looks of the injury, it sounds like it's a 2 to 3 month injury he'll be dealing with for the pain to subside. And if it doesn't, he would undergo Achilles surgery to loosen up any cartilage, tissue, all that stuff that's bothering him. So imagine drafting him in round 1 of your fantasy league. It just certainly could not be me. At Dom.
Listen, he fell to the 3rd pick I had to. I don't know what to tell you.
And Lamar Jackson was back on the practice field after missing Monday. So,
Jordan Mason was a move.
hey, Jordan Mason, 150 yards after having a career 67 yards before Monday night, and he looked really well against a very unprepared Jets team who did not know what they were doing. And also one more thing, Colts cornerback Juju Brents, injured reserve, out for the season with a knee injury. So
That sucks.
very promising former second round pick. Yep. With him being hurt this early, hopefully he's 100% come the 2025 season. Yeah, and that's the end of our discussion here on injuries. But let's
Jordan Love.
Oh yeah, how can I forget Jordan Love? Jordan Love sprained MCL. Who knows if he might play week 2, but he's not going on injury reserve. A 3 to 6 week injury. Maybe he might pull that Aaron Rodgers stuff or Brett Favre stuff, be an Iron Man, come in and play. But yeah, very tough injury with 6 seconds to go in the Brazil game, which was pretty electrifying when the second half came around. Yes, who knows? Malik Willis all of a sudden became important at his job, and now, well, could be starting week 2 for the Green Bay Packers. Just 3 weeks removed from being traded from Tennessee, so goes from a place he wasn't the starter to now starting. So that's that for your injury news. I think I got everything handled. I think I did. But let's return to everyone's favorite discussion here. Return to the debates. We have a couple topics here we're going to talk about. Not really debate, but go back and forth on, but we have a couple things we get to talk about each week. So 16 teams are 1-0. 16 teams are 0-1. And I'll ask you guys this question. Which of the 0-1 teams do you have your least worries about? Like, hey, it's okay. Hey, there's 17 games in the season. They could turn it around. Week 1's week 1. There's no worries about it. They can get back on track after that.
I'll start off, and I think it's very easy, probably the easiest 0-1, so I will gladly take the hanging fruit, and it'll be the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they played really well on the road in a hostile environment, and they were, half a foot size away from tying the game up, or possibly going for the win. I know Harbaugh originally put up the 2 fingers there to go for it, so they could have possibly won the game and walked it off. So definitely the Baltimore Ravens, absolutely.
Yeah, it's either the Ravens or even the Bengals, because the Bengals always start slow. Like every year, it's like Burrow and the Bengals look like trash the first week to 3 weeks, and then they become the juggernaut that they usually are.
Colton's going to absolutely hate this. I'm going to say just to add another team. So I'm not saying like those two teams that you guys just said, because those I think are the easy, obvious choice. We know that. I'm going to go with the good old Falcons. Only as saying like they're going to win their division still. We know how that division goes. And I would think that team only gets better from their kind of abysmal start. So yeah, that's all.
I'm not going to kill you. I think the Falcons are going to be very good this year. Yeah. So they actually have a quarterback, so I'm actually interested. And by the way, I think Baker Mayfield will say, "Hold my beer." On winning the South. Well, who's your 0-1 team?
Oh, come on.
I should just take the low-hanging fruit with the Jets. I mean, when you don't play any starters in the preseason, obviously you're just going to put up a goose egg, just a big dud on a primetime stage. But their next 4 games, the Titans, the Patriots, the Broncos, then you go to London to play the Vikings. I think they could get the wheels back on track. So at 0-1, I'm not overly concerned. I mean, Rodgers only passed the ball 21 times despite 21 minutes of offense. I'm not overly concerned. There's no alarm sounding off for me, so I think it's okay to, ease up. But if you want another one, I think the Cardinals really surprised me on Sunday. They really did. That was a very good game between them and the Bills. And hey, I gotta give the Cardinals credit, man. They really gave the Bills a fight. Although, it wasn't until the very end. It was a great fight overall. So,
well, the Jets are the only 0-1 team in our division. Just saying. Patriots 1-0, Bills 1-0, Miami 1-0, and then there's the Jets last place in the division. That sucks.
So we got a comment here for fantasy: Chuba Hubbard or Tyler Johnson. I mean, I wouldn't touch any. You're not putting. If you put a Panthers player in your lineup and you pay a league, just give them the money and don't ever check your damn lineup again. If you ever have to question a Panthers player, you need to start. Just your team's garbage. Pack it up, put it away. That's that.
No, Tyler Johnson, I think actually is going to play very well in that spot with Puka out. I think he did play substantial.
There's no more Pookie.
No more. So yes, Tyler Johnson. That would be, I think, the good way to go. I think I might have even picked him up in a league where I needed a receiver because that's a solid, like, little 4-week take early in the season if you needed a guy, I think.
And then we also got start Likely or Mark Andrews this week. It's the Raiders defense, and they couldn't really do much against the Chargers offense that really had next to nothing in it. So I think if you could start either, start either. I mean, Chiefs were double covering Andrews the entire game last week, so hence why he really had a very terrible stat line. And Isaiah Likely is a lot more athletic than Mark Andrews, so
I still might say you want to start Likely. That's a tough one. I don't think the Raiders would overbite like reactively to super covering Likely over Andrews, so I don't know about that. That's tough. But I would say if you had to choose, maybe stick with what worked. I think it's a tough one.
And then we got one more. DK, I guess this is Jerome Ford or Christian Kirk. Damn, I wouldn't start Ford against the Jaguars pass rush. I mean, would have to probably start DK. I mean,
against Christian Gonzalez is a tough one right now. Oh wait, no. Are my matchups?
Yeah. Patriots are playing the Seahawks this week. I mean, I would probably stick out with DK as a fantasy start.
I'm playing DK. Yes.
I mean, like, all respect to Christian Kirk, but I think Denzel Ward's a far better corner, and he's going to lock Kirk down.
I think that's a way easier matchup for sure, too. Like Kirk versus DK, that's a pretty lopsided difference, I think. But yeah, I mean, like DK is the easiest answer, I think. I mean, Jerome Ford's going to do things, right? So, like, that's not terrible. But, yeah, I mean, DK, he breaks off one or two. That could be a gigantic, point play right there. So, that's all it takes.
To stick on the topic of 0-1 teams, as my chair just fell a little bit because my foot's hitting the little gauge on it. Yeah. Which 0-1 team is sounding your alarms where it's like, oh, okay, if they couldn't win week 1, this is getting pretty bad? Yeah.
I'm not gonna hit the low hanging fruit. I'm gonna kind of throw a surprise one out there, and it was a team that I kind of hyped up last week on our show, and that'd be the Cleveland Browns. The fact that you paid Deshaun all this money, and Deshaun continues to not play good football since he's been in Houston. That is a big concern of mine if I am a Cleveland Brown fan, and you heard all their overreactions on Monday on the phone lines. They are sounding the alarm. They are wanting and begging for Baker back. I don't understand what's going on in Cleveland. And that's probably my biggest concern is the Browns. I'm not going to take like the low-hanging fruit of like Carolina. That's a dumpster fire, the Giants dumpster fire. But like just overall a solid team that has a really good roster. And just the big part of the lineup and your quarterback play is a ginormous question mark and all the money he's getting. Cleveland is my worrisome. Again, not sounding the alarms, like pulling all the emergency buttons, but that's a team that like you got to be a little concerned how bad it looked.
That was my team.
Yeah.
The biggest one is your quarterback goes to help out your offensive lineman, and he's just like, nah, get away from me. Yeah. I want nothing to do with you.
That's an expiring situation.
Your quarterback on a big contract losing a locker room is a death sentence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to say, like, kind of, Colton mentioned Carolina and the Giants, and I will mention them as in like they sit in this area of we were hoping that things could be better this season. Carolina, you don't have to sound the alarm as much, but it's still not pretty. I mean, that was ugly. And you wished that stuff was going to take a step forward, but when your tickets are like $1.80 and the league is probably like, all right, Tepper, like we got to figure something out because you're doing nothing for us or your team financially, everything wise. And then you got the Giants, I mean, that's just bad. That's a different situation than Carolina, but not too much. That one's too far gone. And we already talked about it too much, so I'm not going to go crazy. But
I mean, I would also say the Jets. That was a rough game.
But that was against a team that's been contending for the Super Bowl. Like it, you
Yeah, but
know.
the part that concerned me was the play calling. Like you had those drives where they're passing the ball pretty efficiently, and then just go back to doing sideline to sideline runs, which would never gonna work from the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Especially
that's a
against
team
that
you can't do it against.
My team, I'm sorry, Dom, I'm gonna have to go with this. It has to be the Atlanta Falcons, because when Kirk was going back, I don't really think he was trusting that Achilles whatsoever. He was looking really nervous. And I mean, when you have a guy like TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith coming at you from both sides, I would be nervous. But looking at their next couple matchups here, you got to go to Philadelphia on Monday night. And we know primetime Kirk is not your best option. And then you have Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. There could be a chance your Falcons start 0-3, and that's not a good look with Kirk, who you paid, what, $180 million for? It's really a 2-year deal, but you paid him $180 million. I mean, it gets a little easier because you do play the NFC South, so the Saints, the Bucks, and then the Panthers, but I don't know, starting in a hole like 0-3, I mean, Kirk did it last year, and he dug the Vikings out of it, but...
So I think this is actually worth talking about. One, we all agreed that the Falcons game 1 of the season was a must win for them to set a tone to show up.
Yeah.
That is rough. We said it was a must win for both teams, I think, but yeah. And then on top of that, me and Jake talked pretty extensively about this. I wouldn't even put it on Kirk as much as I'd put it on their coaching. I think their coaching, I think that it's already showing to me that I am not liking it. I did see this thing that Kirk in the pistol or shotgun formation in his entire career always snaps the ball with a stance of 1 foot behind another foot, like 1 foot further ahead than the other foot, and it makes the drop back like natural for him and stuff. Every single snap in the pistol or shotgun formation in this game, he was in a very square stance, and his dropbacks were kind of awkward. And I don't know if that's so odd to me that something would switch
he
up.
didn't play like any like preseason snaps. Like there was like 10 starters in the league that did not play like preseason snaps. I don't know if they had like joint practices or whatever. So like going against your own like players, because they know like, okay, I can't hit the quarterback versus teams that are like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna kick the shit out of Kirk Cousins week 1. Like,
I just think it's odd that a quarterback is changing a stance for the first time in his career after what? How many years has been in the league? I mean, like substantial
12?
12 or so years in this league, and he's changing his stance. I don't know if that's a coaching thing. I don't know if that's just so odd to me. So things are a little bit weird in that situation. But yeah, I don't, we'll see how that goes. He's got the weapons.
Mm-hmm.
The team's built. We know that team's built on offense and defense, so they shouldn't have issues. We'll see.
We have a question here from Sam, who has a fantasy question here. Would you trade Tank Dell for Chris Olave straight up?
That's
yes.
I feel like Olave might have been like a. Yeah.
Olave is a wide receiver 1 versus Tank Dell, who's a wide receiver 3 in that offense. So,
but I think there's going to be games where each of them are going to have games where they do substantially better than other games. I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one.
I always default to the better offense.
Yeah, I mean, like Tank. That's
yeah,
tough.
the Texans would be the much better offense because, the Saints are trying to fool you thinking, oh, you know what? Last year was a fluke. We got this. And then, the nosedive's coming. It's like the roller coaster. We're
Tank
slowly
Dell-
getting up there.
Tank Dell is gonna have games, like substantial point games, but like so is Olave. Is gonna have games. So that's
I
a
honestly
tough
think it's a
one.
wash.
What?
I honestly think it's a wash. It's like it's.
Tank Dell or
Well, I would say the top.
I'm going Olave, knowing he's the number 1 option. Is if you're going to ask me, getting the targets, I'm going there. I understand Jake's point though. The better offense is Houston's offense.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's going to have moments, but the thing is, I'd rather get the targets. So I'd rather give me Olave over that situation. If you take one of those wideouts out though, like if God forbid Diggs gets hurt or Nico Collins, you're getting a huge upgrade then with Tank Dell. But you're waiting on the injury.
We got one more fantasy question. We'll go into the last topic of our little debate thing. Romeo says flex option, Kenneth Walker or Michael Pittman. I don't know like Kenneth Walker's injury situation right now, abdomen injury. That's kind of like a weird.
He says it's gonna be good.
And then Pittman, who I don't know how he did last week. I mean, all I saw was Richardson's 75-yard throw, and Next Gen Stats couldn't even put it on their little graphic because it was that far of a ball.
Pittman did. Sorry, that's the Texans. Pittman.
He wasn't great.
I
Oh,
think like Alex
31
Pierce was
yards. 4 receptions, 31 yards. That's like, what is that? That's 7.1 points. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
got to go against. You got to go
Green Bay.
against Green Bay and Jaheir Alexander, and Packers defense looked, decent against the Eagles
Who
last
does-
week.
Who does Seattle play again?
The
It's
Patriots.
right?
I mean, it's
I'd
not. It's not
probably
really. You
want-
can't be like, oh, Chase Brown was like a good fantasy option either because like it's Chase Brown.
what do you say?
I'd rather
Yeah,
probably
Kenneth
play
Walker.
Kenneth.
Yeah, but like
I'm probably thinking Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I would say Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker's second half of the game was much better, and he got points, got a touchdown. I mean, Kenneth Walker, if you remember last year, started the year like first 6 weeks, touchdown every single week. So he gets the touches, and he usually results in at least a touchdown. So I would say that's a move.
one final one. Trade. I guess it's Garrett Wilson, Dalton Kincaid, and Jerome Ford for Marvin Harrison, McBride, and Jaden Daniels. He's weak at quarterback.
That's tough.
No,
No,
Don't like it.
I don't know what your quarterbacks are, but no.
I don't like that.
no.
I mean, if Jaden Daniels runs like another 16 times, like
Yeah.
following, like it
No.
might be like an Anthony Richardson situation.
Still no. I'm not
Yeah.
interested in what they're selling.
Hey, Jaden Daniels was taking hits, man. I mean, like I
He
did
always
not
does.
like that.
He always does. That's what I said in the preview, very first episode. Of like, listen, if the man could stay healthy from running around and doesn't get murdered, he'll be great. But he in college, he had that same kind of Richardson issue.
Yeah, and they ran a quarterback draw on like the 2, and he got like smacked twice trying to make it into the end zone.
Todd Bowles with blitzing is just like
That too.
he could scheme him up, but yeah.
Blitz, Bama, blitz.
Let us know your other quarterbacks. We'll get back to your option on that one. But let's go back into this here. Which debut/performance stood out to you the most? Jake, start there. Can I play 20 questions? Was this game in the Southern Hemisphere?
We'll just go with that right there.
There you go. That's kind of
Chop Robinson?
God, Miles.
Miles
I can't
Sanders.
even think of his last name. Thank you.
Yeah, Miles Sanders for sure.
Christian Hackenberg? The USFL still on?
Very happy. Very happy.
3 tutties and how many yards? Like what? Combined over 100 for Saquon?
39.
Nice. Oh, I know who I'm saying.
I did not get to watch the game. I wish I did, but yeah, I was preoccupied.
It was very reminiscent of the college days. I was very happy.
I'm gonna go with someone that me and Will are kind of disappointed we didn't draft for the first time ever or trade each other for the first time ever.
Should you also say you jinxed on the second catch that he had, and you're like, oh no, he might have.
I was like, and that's why we don't draft him because we were watching it together. Me and Will were watching it together, and then he just goes off. Jameson Williams, man, Jameson Williams, way to ball out. That might be a move if you picked him in fantasy in like the last freaking round of your draft. I like that. I'm glad that he's getting the touches. I'm glad that he's performing. We know he kind of had it in him, but with the injury and then the gambling and stuff, it's been tough. But it's cool to see that he's doing it finally, and that the team's giving him the chance to do it and giving him the touches and the receptions, and he's running away with it. So that's cool because Detroit's not the deepest in receiver right now. I don't think.
It's Amon-Ra and then a massive drop.
What?
We're counting that as a debut, though.
Oh, he said
It could be debut/performance. I mean, I consider it a debut. Jameson Williams has never played a week 1. I mean, this is the first healthy offseason he's had. So
Played in the playoff games.
Yeah, no, it's more of a performance, not a debut. Then I guess you're right, but that's fair. Still,
what about you, Colton? Is Justin Fields on your radar here?
No, he's not. It's definitely Saquon Barkley. I mean, this is kind of what we all expected this to be. He's playing behind an elite offensive line. He's got legitimate weapons around him, so he is not like the billboard guy when you're looking at the scouting for the week. Oh yeah, who are we looking at? Oh yeah, Saquon Barkley for the Giants. Oh yes, that's all they have. Yes, Where he's in Philly, it is no. Jalen Hurts can run. It is A.J. Brown's disgusting. Devonta Smith's very good. Dallas Goedert's a top-tier tight end. Like, there's everything else there. So, I mean, clearly it's the debut for and you know what? Big shutout. Big shutout. J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins with the Chargers.
I want you to eat the crow on that. I want you to admit you freaked out. I was like, oh, I don't want like J.K. Dobbins and like I don't trust them. And
again, all the talent's there with J.K. Dobbins. We've seen it at moments in Baltimore. The injuries, man. He's just always hurt. So big shout out to J.K. Dobbins. I think he had like 10 carries for like 100 and
He had a 50-yard rush.
100, yeah, he cooked. And I mean, everyone's like pushing, oh, J.K. Dobbins is like the fastest slow guy I've ever seen. Like as he's like getting towards the end zone. I'm like, no, he's just gassed. Like the guy hasn't played football in like 2 years. So like try to have that like energy built up to like, you know, run all the way down the field like that. So a huge shout out to Saquon Barkley and, you know, J.K. Dobbins getting it done there.
Well, you go, and then I kind of have a little honorable mention.
I don't really have a debut, but I just want to mention Cooper Kupp because like he looked like that 2021 self against Detroit on Sunday, and it really was like, okay, it's reminiscent. It looks really good. Like I hope we can keep it up because like that Stafford Kupp connection was electric 3 years ago, and I hope they can rejuvenate, bring it back to life again, and yeah.
I'm glad me and Jake are the only ones that actually took this, you know, this prop series.
All right, how about I say like Jake Moody?
Because I meant this when I brought it up, like to give impressions, like, oh, what was our first impressions of Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels?
None of us,
and none of you went that way.
No, I mean it didn't
89
stand
yards.
out to me. It didn't stand out to me. I was going to eventually get to the point on the rookies not really performing. It kind of like they were disappointing and not really surprising.
I was going to say Bruce Irving. That's a low-key one. But, I mean, he had like 9 rushes, put up 62 yards, kind of looked better than Rachaad White on that team. I mean, like he might get more responsibility now in that offense, and that might be pretty solid if it continues to work out. That's a kind of a under-radar one, you know. So, also the Cooper Kupp thing I'm completely contesting. He got thrown the ball to 21 times that game. He better do good. Like, he only caught 14 of them, which isn't that much when you run to 21 times a game.
Well, when Pookie gets hurt, like I can't really do much about that. So,
can me and Jake just run the show? You two picking Jameson Williams and Cooper Kupp, absolute crap.
Well, I
show
mean, at least Jameson Williams is the first week one he's played, and you know, healthy off season, that stuff.
No.
So I'm not going to contest that because at least he can hopefully play 17.
I think you both are banned from this topic next week. Honestly.
All right, one final fantasy question. All right, but this person asked, should he start Najee or Jeff Wilson or Waddle for flex? And I think Waddle is the only option you can. I mean, if you're not going to start Waddle, then why are you playing?
You could start Najee, man. They're playing Denver. That game could be pretty disgusting and a lot of running. And Najee ran for 70 yards and had 20 carries. So, I mean, if Najee funds the end zone along with those 20 carries, you know, it could be a very happy fellow. So, I mean, I think it's a very easy one. I think it's either Waddle or Najee Harris. But Najee got a lot of touches, which I was surprised about week 1.
Waddle did.
He was great. He had like 6 catches for over 100 yards. So, he was still very good.
109. Yeah, that's not bad.
All right, well, let's go into this game of the week. Which game really caught your eye and you're like, hot damn, football's back. Let's go.
I think there's 2 here there's 3, and I think they're all kind of the primetime games. I think the first 3 primetime games of the season, I think the NFL got lucky with that. The Ravens game was great. The Brazil game is my pick, and then you could have got a grid ending there in Detroit. So I think those 3 definitely take the cake here.
I mean, the Texans-Colts game was kind of awesome. I liked the Texan-Colt game a lot. I mean, you had some big plays. Richardson throwing that, slipping, and then throwing like a 70-yard bomb like it was nothing. Was
Madden glitch.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. It was an exciting game. It's kind of what I expected from them. I know you guys picked the Texans. I picked the Colts last week, so it's like I was hoping for a game kind of like this. You know, I know the Colts didn't win, but I thought it would be a pretty exciting game, and it was. So that was cool. It was a good game, good division game to start off week 1.
I mean, I'll go with Rams Detroit. I mean, Listen, that overtime matchup where it's just Dave Montgomery. Every snap was just him. Feed Montgomery. And everyone's like, I don't think Montgomery was honestly himself in that overtime. He was just a completely different human being. And he was just running over people that entire overtime drive.
It was kind of awesome watching him in that overtime. I was like, that was.
The Rams fan picks the Rams game.
It was. I knew someone was going to say that. He did talk about Detroit though, but no, that was maybe game of the week. Maybe. I mean, it was up there. It was a great game. It's the only one that went to overtime. So
I'll make the other mention too: the Titans and the Bears game. I mean, the Bears coming back. I mean, the Bears defense coming back because the offense scored 2 points and the defense blocked punt, pick six. Will Levis fell to his knees in the middle of the field. That photo is just hysterical.
You mean nail polish boy wasn't amazing?
He had 89 yards, and I think I saw the stat on Sunday. If you just only put the Sunday quarterbacks in, they averaged 185 yards, and that's Tua with like 330. I think he was the most yards passing on Sunday, and then Caleb Williams had 89 or 91. He really didn't have that big of a game, but
quarterbacks this week one scored less than half the touchdowns that week one of last year scored.
I think only like 5 had a positive EPA per play.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Going back on this guy's question, he says his wide receivers are A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Waddle, and running backs are Najee Harris, James Cook. You could start 4 receivers and 1 running back. And then he says, should I start Jameson Williams or Najee?
Jameson Williams? Did someone say Jameson?
Yeah, Jameson Williams. There he is.
I mean, it worked out really well last week. I don't know, man. Could work out again. Jameson Williams.
Non-biased. I'm going Najee Harris.
Najee Harris, I think, is the safest pick. I think he's going to get the touches. I think it's against a bad team. That's, I think, the safest pick. If you want 10 points, I would, if you want to guaranteed at least 10 points, I think you pick Najee.
And then this guy said Garrett Wilson to finish wide receiver 1. Yes. Okay. Now that the biasness is out of the way, let's go to everyone's favorite segment here. Buy, sell, and hold. And look at I got pen and I got paper. I'm gonna write down my stuff and I'm gonna remember what I have. Jake went to the dollar store before this and says I'm gonna write this stuff down. I'm gonna get it done.
The oldest notebook ever. I haven't looked this thing in years. It's an old college notebook. There are still notes in here.
2 + 2 = 4. I saw it. I swear.
How to make the best martini? Grey Goose. This and that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
All right, well, let's go into buys here. What are you guys buying after week 1? And are you just really good on it? I know this is Colton's favorite segment because Dom contradicts himself when the picks come around. So
He does.
Watch Dom.
This is when you watch me rumble. This is the start of the.
Dom, where are you starting with your buys here?
Oh, well, I'm not ready. Someone else go. I listen. I haven't thought about this first.
Buy.
Sell. It's Wall Street.
I'm buying Baker
Go get
Mayfield.
in 2 minutes.
It's true.
I'm buying Baker and those Bucks, man. Impressive week 1 performance against a team that I'm very high on. Again, rookie quarterback early in the season with the Commanders. But Baker and the Bucks heard a lot this offseason. Oh, it's the Falcons division. Oh, they bring in Kirk Cousins. Oh, they finally have a quarterback to throw to Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. Yeah, no, Baker Mayfield's still here. And Chris Godwin, Mike Evans all got in on the party. Give me the buy on Baker and the Bucks.
Yeah, as far as teams that you can easily buy into and you don't have to be all right. I liked the Tampa pick, thought about it, but I want to see it a couple more times. Just before I jump in on it. Mm-hmm. And the only one I can confidently full blown buy in after 1 week is the Niners. Because even that Chiefs game, they looked good with the new weapons. I mean, you gotta address the elephant in the room, and the calls in that game were nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that chatter once again has to be brought up.
Allison said Dom fumbles here like Will does when he orders for everyone in the drive-thru.
It's true. And that's exactly how it goes. I'm still not ready.
If you're not ready, I'll buy into the Bears defense. They're a really good unit. Okay, I mean, it just depends. Okay, can Caleb Williams help them on offense, kind of get them some stuff? They didn't look that good in the first half, but second half, a blocked punt for a touchdown. Mr. Simone Biles scored. I don't even know what his actual name is. And then you have the pick 6 from the Bears late in the game. Yeah, I'll buy into the Bears defense. They looked really good in the second half, and they're in tune for a very good matchup against the Houston Texans week 2.
Honestly, I'm gonna buy into the Colts. Screw it. I like their matchups coming up. I think they have a chance to kind of really get on track this season. And I think as long as Richardson's healthy, I think this is a team worth buying into. I'm not going to say they're going to win the division, but I kind of like where might be going. So,
what about sell? What do we want to sell off on here? This early into the season.
I'm selling
This is
off
the
on
low
it
hanging
now.
fruit part.
This is a very low hanging fruit, and I'm glad I'm never going to ever have to mention them, hold any of this going forward. It's Carolina Panthers. God almighty, they're awful. Yeah, I'm definitely selling off on Bryce Young and those Carolina Panthers.
I wasn't even considering them because it's like,
well,
you didn't have to. You could sold them week 0 and.
You didn't have to say it like.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm shocked you went with the bye with the Niners. I mean, God almighty, it's the defending NFC champs right there you just bought.
I'm selling.
Oh, the hand shrug. Come on, Jake. What are you selling?
I got to be convinced, man. I got to be convinced. You got to show a couple times.
I'm convinced these idiots sucks. That's why I'm selling them now.
Exactly. It's been multiple weeks. It's like, all right, they're done. So that's why I'm picking Joe Shane to sell. Because that dude is an idiot.
Did you see his Wikipedia page? He's a clown.
He's a clown.
He's Ronald McDonald.
That dude assured all of his boss to his face. Now, the guy that makes you a bunch of money, Saquon Barkley, we don't need to pay him. It's not worth paying him all that money. We don't need him. We got Daniel Jones. We'll put weapons around him. He'll be fine. We don't need him. Saquon Barkley, 3 touchdowns. The Giants, 0. Joe Shane, explain tomorrow or kick rocks.
My sell is going to be the Giants and those hideous 100th year uniforms. You could have picked any different shade of pant color for those pants. They don't need to be a skin tone. Make it white or just not manila where it's like, okay, yeah, it could be someone's actually not wearing pants in the field. That would be my sell. And, yeah, I'm going to just stick with it. It's not like I have to go against it.
I'm going to sell the Browns. I think it's over before it began. With all the little things, like Jake mentioned earlier, the offensive lineman swatting Deshaun's hand away and stuff. Amari Cooper before the season being pissed about that whole trade thing. And then also not performing week 1 too. I'm kind of selling it off. I think it was over before it began. They had 0 or negative yards on 50% of their plays this past week. That's insane. 22 out of 44 plays went 0 or negative. Yeah, no, we're done here.
Oh, God. I'm so glad this is all being written down this year. He's selling on the Browns week 1? They're way too talented on their roster to sell. Oh, God. It's going to be like week 5 or 6. The Browns
I'm going to buy them.
Wins, and I'm going to buy the Browns, and I'm going to go, hold on, roll the tape. Oh, Dom. Just take the low-hanging fruit. We're not going to come back this year and talk about the freaking Panthers and probably the Giants. Yet you bring up the Browns. Oh, we're coming for you. Oh, you're done.
I had to get creative during this segment. I don't know.
Oh, God.
I still think it's over before it began. I think it's too toxic. I think it's just such a bad situation. It only got worse, it felt like. So.
We got one comment here. I'll answer this one. We're becoming a fantasy football show. Trade away A.J. Brown, Zach Moss, and Khalil Shakir for Achane, Adams, and a 2025 first. He mentioned 12 team head-to-head, full PPR, 3 keepers, quarterback, 2 running back, 2 receiver, tight end, 2 flex, kicker, and defense. Guess this is Team Lamar, Connor, Montgomery, Brown, Garrett, Andrews, Debo, Diggs, Moody, Chiefs defense. What else is this here? Bench, Baker, Gus, Bus, Zach, Justice Hill, Dowdle, Shakir. Oh my God, there's like so many things.
IR Puka.
Pookie, no.
AJ Brown. That's a crazy trade though. And Shakir didn't have the first week.
God, I wouldn't even want Devontae Adams. I don't know if
it's tough because Mostert played some touches, so all right, that takes maybe a little bit away from Achane. I think he'll still be good though. I don't mind Zach Moss still. I think just because AJ Brown is the best player in that group of players right there, plus Khalil Shakir. I don't think is bad. He had like a moderate week, and he's gonna get targets. I don't know, man. I would say I don't like that trade away.
I wouldn't, especially for Adams. I mean, I think AJ Brown's a solid keeper still. So
I don't think you're upgrading any positions via that trade, except for maybe A-Chain and Zach Moss. But like even then, I don't know. It's tough. I don't mind these questions. These are cool.
Yeah, I think
I like it.
comment like a section that we answer comments for.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
We'll insert a fantasy section next week. How
Like
about
a
that?
couple little sections in
Man,
between.
if we're gonna get comments,
Fantasy half past the hour. How about that?
Yeah, or like maybe like 3 fantasy segments. You know, like or like 3 answer segments where we answer. I don't mind that. That's cool. I still have yet to. We haven't hold. We got to hold.
Yeah, we got to hold. Colton's MIA, as I see on his camera there. So hold. I want to hold the Saints, despite having a near 50-point week. It's the Panthers still. I think that there's still room for improvement. I think Carr got taken out after the first half because it was 37-0. So it wasn't really anything that he had to come back in and play for. I will hold on the Saints, and yeah, I'll that's a to be determined later team. So I'll be holding on New Orleans.
yeah, that's not a bad one. That's a perfect team you hold on.
Yeah, I like that.
In that vein, I am going to take the Bengals because, as much as we know they start slow, the clips of Joe Burrow and his wrist concern me.
Also, Joe Burrow is like 5-1 against what is he against the Chiefs?
He usually beats them in the regular season.
Yeah, and they play this week. So
he's undefeated. I think he's 3-1.
yeah,
The only loss is the
got him.
AFC Championship game.
yeah, I think
No,
all time.
Yeah, that's the only time they got him back.
Yeah.
See,
So I mean, like that's a decent hold.
it's just that like I didn't like that his wrist was clearly still bothering him. Like
Yeah, he's flexing it the entire time, and it's like
Jamar had food poisoning apparently too in that game, and Higgins looks like he's not going to play week 2 either.
yeah. So Andre Yosivash,
Yeah,
he's your guy.
So I do think they'll figure it out, and I'll buy him later. But for
like
right
that.
now, there's some concerning things. So I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna hold the Chargers. To be honest, I know we went through their schedule and they kind of had a gradual start to their season. They won week 1. We were a little questionable about the run game, and that's been answered now. Lad McConkey had a little bit of a week, and that's been answered. Kind of like, will he get thrown to substantially? Like, will he be a little bit of a difference? I think he is. Herbert looked fine. The defense, Khalil Mack caused a fumble
I
recovery.
think he had like 3 sacks that game too.
Yeah, so like
I really liked what they did that game.
yeah, so did I. So and that was easy. That was against the Raiders. Now they play the Panthers. Love that for them. They can continue to roll it on and continue to put their feet underneath them and have their stuff together. Then they go and play the Steelers, which is like a moderate matchup, not too hard, not too easy. So like, all right, now we're getting gradual. So I like the Chargers.
Yeah,
I think they're a team potential to buy later on.
I was looking at them as
Where-
possibly like my week 3 hold because I looked
Yeah.
at the schedule and I'm like, all right, you're not going to learn a ton against the Panthers, I don't think, but you play the Steelers, then you could probably hold them.
Yeah.
That's what I was good. That was my thought process.
Yeah, I think they're a candidate for a future buy, and that means they become a hold right now. So hold now, buy later.
Exactly.
That's the
Same with-
intention.
Same after you sell, you can hold them before you buy them back.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm giving you your out there for the
I'm
Browns.
never gonna hold the Browns ever again.
Yeah,
It's okay. I'm
I'm
never
giving you-
mentioning the Browns.
I'm giving you your out.
Yeah, that's my hold. I'm glad I slid right in here after your Chargers pick. It's the Browns for me. I mean, it's too early to sell them. I think there's way too much talent on this roster. I'm selling the Browns.
Mhm.
That's
I
right.
held on the Saints, Colton. I was watching your little icon there, and you walked out of the wall, and I was like, "Oh my god, he just Kool-Aid man himself through the wall there."
This is great, isn't it? It is hilarious. It doesn't look bad. As long as I'm not moving much, this background thing is quite great, actually. I was sitting there like, let me take a picture of the background at the house. And let's see how this thing works out. I'm like, oh, it's genius. It looks great.
got
Just don't
no-
move around a lot.
I actually keep thinking you're in that room and everything.
I
Like-
know. It's great, isn't it? I just can't move around a lot. Just don't move around. And it's great. It's wonderful.
just don't get Colton on a rant where he starts, just like, God, Lee, like, come on, man, just
His arms just
Dom almost had me there with the Browns selling. But again, it's Dom fashion. It's this segment. It's going to be on the tape. And honestly, it might be next week. So
You know what? Honestly, this is the one week he's not a hypocrite. Because we'll get to the picks later, but I'm looking at it and
okay, cool. I like that.
you did not dom yourself so far.
Maybe we're going into consistency in 2024-5. So
narrator. We are not going into consistency.
we're not-
You thought.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let me scroll down. I don't even know where it is anymore. Here it is. Bam! Week number 2 picks. I'm getting the alert on TikTok because apparently we're just frozen the entire time. Yeah, fucking verification. Okay, but yes, week 2 time because I could cut that out in the post show for when we post this on YouTube. Yes. Bam. Our weeks last week, Dom's is starting where he finished last year in the bottom there. Colton and I are right in the middle there, and Jake takes his first lead in 19 weeks. So, yes. Here we go.
I'm really pissed because
Here we go.
I did the tally up after the 4:00 games on Sunday, and I was like, oh my gosh, Colton's in last. This is fantastic. I have something to say. And then Monday happened, and here I am in last. So nothing to say.
Yeah.
shocker.
Was not a fan of my early season slow start last year that I had to just claw my way and just throw Dom down to get back. But
Starting where I left off.
I think we all started where we left off.
Yeah, that might be the exact.
I think I was first last year. I was first for a couple, like 2 weeks, and then that was it. And then I gave it to Dom, and Dom was just worried about Colton the entire time. And Colton hawked your ass. Wow. What are you, Buda Baker and Colton's DK Metcalf? He just like out of nowhere, just bam.
I did. Dom didn't see it coming.
Alrighty, we're gonna go with the first matchup here. Thursday Night Football here. The Bills and the Dolphins rematch of Week 18 last year. Last game of the last season and first game of Week 2. Let me just pull up the picks here. That'll make it easier. Scroll down here. Colton. I might have to do something here, but you're taking Buffalo as the lone wolfer.
I am. I got to see Miami do it, man. I got to see Miami win the big game. I know they did it against Dallas last year, but then that was about it. I got to see them do it, man. I think Miami could win this game, but I'm picking Buffalo. I got to see them do it, man.
The three of us are taking the Miami Dolphins. So Colton could, put Dom more into the basement there if he gets a win this week. So
Me picking the Dolphins, him picking against the Dolphins, and if I lost that matchup, just makes zero sense. It's crazy.
And then we go into the Sunday matchups because there's no Friday Night Football this week. San Francisco at Minnesota. Let me just click this here. Yep. So San Francisco at the Vikings. We are all taking the Vikings here. Christian McCaffrey not likely to play week number 2.
Well, you said we're all taking the Vikings.
Yeah, wait a
here.
minute.
I'm sorry. We're taking the Niners here. I was trying to think of the comment and all that stuff.
Listen,
we got a Bills comment. Like
it's Mark too.
Sam Darnold, maybe your love of your life, but
He had him on the brain. That's why he said we're all taking the Vikings. So,
but yeah, so we're taking the red team. Christian McCaffrey might not play week 2. So Jordan Mason's going to be the backfield man next week as well. So Mark's going to go 16-0 while Dom goes 8-8 this week. So this is going to be entertaining. Then we got Seattle at New England here, and we are clean sweeping the Seahawks here. I said the correct team this week. So Geno Smith and company, we think they're going to get it done here in New England. First home opener in the post-Belichick era since the last century when, Belichick was not the coach, 1999. So, yeah, times have changed here in New England. And then we go into our nation's capital here, the Giants at Washington. Colton here, you're lone wolfing the Giants.
Yeah, I think Daniel Jones actually plays well against the Commanders. And if not, I have myself for next week. I wasn't taking these idiots. It was the easy one first week with the Panthers. If these idiots lose in bad fashion, I know who my sell is for next week. So give me the G-Men.
The rest of us are taking Dan Quinn's team. So, yes, in true Commanders fashion for Dom and I, we were picking the Commanders, and Jake's coming along for the ride. Next matchup here for $32, you can see the Carolina Panthers home opener against your Los Angeles Chargers. We are all picking the blue team, aka the powder blue Chargers, to win, and I don't really think we have to talk about this anymore, considering yes, that's all we got to talk about here. Then we go into Dallas here, where the Saints come into town, red hot off a win against the Panthers. They go against the Cowboys, who I don't know if you want to say blowout wins for each team, but hey, it's going to be what we see week 2, and we're all picking Dallas. We're all across the board here. So
Dallas starts hot. These are the kind of games that they roll people.
And this goes home to Dallas, so it's like, I feel like that's really the edge why we all pick Dallas more than anything. It's a home game. Maybe if it was in New Orleans, maybe, this might be a little bit more split. I think it should still be a great game.
Then we go into Lambeau Field, where they come back from their Brazilian vacation here, take on the Colts, and we are clean sweeping the Colts because the question mark of is Love going to play?
Because
I've not seen an injury report today from the Packers, so I don't even know if he practiced.
There's no chance he plays.
Yeah, right.
So there's zero chance he plays this week.
Yeah.
If he does, I'm giving someone a nickel.
That's it.
A nickel?
Only a nickel. Oh, yeah. I don't got a lot to my name. Only a nickel you're getting. Sorry to tell you.
I'll eat a piece of shit.
That's the guy with the 80,000 jerseys in the background. That's where the money is at.
If it happened, I would have 2 nickels, and it's coincidental that it happened twice. But
I mean, he saw his knee pop. How is that a sprain?
I don't know if there was like a pad or whatever over there. I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's go down to Jacksonville, where their home opener is against the Cleveland Browns, and we are split here. Dom and I are taking the Jaguars, while Colton and Jake are taking the dog pound here. Battle of the dog versus the cat.
This is the consistency in my picks, I guess.
That's what I was looking at.
I don't think the Jags did bad last week. They put up 17 to Miami 20. Like, that was not against the Miami team in Miami. That's not bad. Even though Miami still broke out some plays, for them to be that close, I think is reasonably substantial. Parts of the team could play better. I think Colton mentioned Christian Kirk earlier. Maybe it was a fantasy question.
No, we had a fantasy question about Christian Kirk.
But he didn't play that well. Ingram didn't do much. I still think, there's some potential on this team to be seen. I just hated everything the Browns did. Obviously, it's the Browns defense that's the difference maker in this matchup. So it's just kind of like, do they overcome it? Do they not? I'm going to say yes. That's my plan.
Yeah, try not to be a prisoner of the moment and think of the Browns can run and play defense enough to beat Trevor Lawrence.
See, from the guy that didn't crap on Trevor Lawrence last week. Go figure. He's hopping on the crap on Trevor Lawrence in week 2. I'm fine with it, Jake. Welcome aboard. You're always welcome on this train. So I'm taking the Browns. I think their defense is finally gonna figure it out. They got embarrassed at home in the dog pound against the nation's favorite team in the Cowboys. So I think they're going to bounce back this week, and I think Trevor Lawrence sucks. So, yeah, sadly taking the Browns is clear. I want my division foes to lose.
I gotta buy you a conductor's hat, Colton, since you're the conductor of the Trevor Lawrence shit train. So
we're just not.
Well,
no, we're just not doing the old thing that what is it that NFL Network does? The hype train thing, as we're sitting there dancing with the fantasy football people. The hype train, yeah, we're not doing that here. We're not getting up and dancing and doing a hype train here. No, I'm the conductor, and I'm just crapping on whoever I please. That's
no stops. We're just going.
Steam rolling.
Join you right in that passenger seat of that train. We can just run over.
Oh, now you want to join me on the shit on Trevor Lawrence
the entire time. The team does not suck. He does.
To be fair,
Jake, I get Jake going if I just well, he didn't say get some fired up. Very easy bait. See, I can tell you don't fish. You take the bait very easy, Jake. Come on, we'll work on that next time.
In that Browns Cowboys game,
Steelers are boring.
Dak didn't do all too much either.
I agree. They are boring.
So I don't know if I don't know. That's my argument. Dak didn't do too much.
All right.
They won.
Let's have Will talk 10 years about these idiots. Will, what do you got on these two clowns going out of here?
I'm taking the Titans Jets in Nashville. Clean sweep of the Jets. I think this is the get right game. I don't have anything else. So this is the get right game for the Jets.
Yeah, sure. I mean needs to be.
I hope it is. Who knows? Let's see. Let's go into the next game here. Rematch. I mean, Lions are just rematching everyone going in through the playoffs again. So Buccaneers at Detroit. We are all taking Detroit here. I'm expecting a good matchup because it was a good playoff matchup last year. And listen, both teams are coming off of, good wins. So, hey, maybe sparks fly again. Lightning strikes twice. But,
I wouldn't be surprised here if the Bucs win. I did buy the Bucs, but I like Detroit a lot this year. I just think they're going to be there again. This is going to be a great game. Is this in the 1 o'clock window?
This is the end of the 1 o'clock window. There are 10 games in the 1 o'clock window and 3 in the 4 o'clock.
Oh, beautiful. See, I'll be tuning into this game.
Blitzing against a good O-line and an efficient quarterback doesn't typically go well.
So, just current update. Matt LaFleur, first of all, Jordan Love missed practice. Matt LaFleur said he's not ruled out. He said, end quote, I'd say it's pretty open. So that's kind of where that's at.
No chance he plays. I'll up the ante. $1 if he plays. $1.
Gamesmanship all the way.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Wow, we can all get tickets. We could all get tickets to go see a Panthers game at that rate. Colton, thank you for the donation. $4. You'll be paying more in fees. Let's see. Let's go. It's the end of the 1 o'clock hour. The Raiders at the. Okay, Dom. Raiders and.
It wasn't me. I don't know.
It's Colton.
Yeah.
I was just blaming Dom for no reason.
Everyone blame Dom. Everyone blame Will.
Ravens and Raiders. Clean sweep of Baltimore. Yeah. They're going to be on a vengeance this week. That's all I have to say on the Ravens. Yeah. Let's go into the 4 o'clock hour here. The Rams at the Cardinals. Cardinals home opener. 3 of us have the Rams, and Jake, you have a blank spot in the dock there. Are you looking to do the surprise of the century?
I don't know. I really don't. I'm so stuck.
I don't blame you.
I think I'm going to go with Arizona just to stop these sweeps.
Wow, the dude's got a cushion. You got a cushion.
Yeah,
Don't give the cushion away. All right.
You could play with the cushion now. You could, there's room.
I gave you the cushion.
Yeah. Are you locking in the cards?
Yeah, why not?
The cards are locked. The cards are in. We're counting this week. We're card counting. Now we're going to go to Kansas City where the Bengals and the Chiefs are playing. And, clean sweep of the Chiefs here. I mean, if Joe Burrow's health was a little bit better and we didn't see all the footage of him flexing his wrist around, I mean, maybe could shimmy, the Bengals. But Arrowhead or Burrowhead, whoever called it that. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes' house. I'm sorry, Taylor Swift's house.
Marquise Brown might play this week, right?
He didn't play in practice today.
Oh, well, it's questionable still. But either way, it doesn't freaking matter. They have the receiving core. It's going to get better. It was crazy last week. And, Jamar – is Jamar going to play?
I would think. I think he practiced today.
But no T. Higgins, though, maybe. So it's still –
T. Higgins definitely not playing.
Tough situation. I don't know. When in doubt, Chiefs.
When in doubt, Chiefs.
When in doubt, Taylor.
Yeah.
Shake it off. Just shake it off. It's okay. Matchup of the week according to Colton here. His quote, not mine. Steelers and Broncos. Wow, Colton, you're picking the Broncos. What's up with that? I'm joking.
Not even close to my quote of the week, but thanks, Will. Appreciate it.
Clean sweep of Pittsburgh here in the Mile High Stadium.
Race to score 1 touchdown.
Over and under Chris Boswell, 1 million field goals.
I might take the over.
Uh,
Boz, we trust.
I wouldn't be that bad. I'm gonna do that right now. Let me do that. Let's see.
Yeah.
Where is he? Boswell.
What is
He definitely got claimed. There's no way he did not get claimed in fantasy.
It's
All
okay.
right. Well, I picked him up because we have the most rigged fantasy points of all time.
Well, I hate you. I'm going to jump on into this game. We got Caleb Williams making his primetime debut against the Texans, CJ Stroud and company. I don't even have to look. I guarantee this is a sweep. I don't even have to look at the doc. I already know this is a sweep.
Has to be a
Who in
sweep.
their right mind took Chicago? Put your money where your mouth is. Where are you?
It's a
Where
Houston
are
sweep.
you?
It's a Houston sweep here.
You know I'm not taking nail polish boy.
Oh, that's
a low blow.
Jeez. Low blow.
He has a family.
Okay.
Hey, yeah.
Losing
Crying on my
losing
shoulder.
dumb.
Uh,
Losing dumb.
yeah, I'm picking the Texans here. After buying into the Bears defense, I still think I think this is a very close game if the Bears defense can hold this offense down. If the Colts did it, I think the Bears can do the same. So tight matchup all around. And then Monday Night Football. Oh, there it is. Falcons and the Eagles. Kirko in chains. Dirty Bird debut. Which bird are we picking here? And we're all picking the green bird, the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly in their second home game of the year.
This might be a good match, though. Honestly, it might be a good
the
match.
third year in a row we've had our home opener against Kirk Cousins. It really is. As a Monday night or Thursday night
They're
game.
trying to tell you something.
Yeah, it's Kirk in primetime. Hey, that's almost a gift, though. Kirk in primetime, except for not recently. He's been
I think
okay.
last year he was all right.
Yeah, he's been okay in primetime. Did you see the contract Chase turned down?
Yes.
It was 4 years and 140.
Oh my God.
I think he really wanted that penny above Jefferson. He wanted 140, bunch of commas and all that stuff, and just 1 cent.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's all he wanted. Yeah.
I mean,
Nothing else?
I think this is still a good match, though. I really do. The Falcons is still, I feel like we still have yet to see really anything from the Falcons. I feel like it'll be a close game. Eagles, obviously, but
We've gained 4 followers on TikTok during this, and the entire chat here on TikTok is filled with fantasy questions.
All right. So there's got to be a section next week.
Yeah.
We will have a fantasy section next week of just comments and stuff. We'll have it half past the hour. We'll make that a thing.
we might have to do
I can't believe
We have
how
to
many
do a fantasy
questions
show.
we got.
we might have to do 2 separate segments,
Maybe
maybe
stockpile the questions until later,
Yeah.
and then right before buy, sell, hold.
Well, some people come in, ask, and they don't want to wait
Well,
45 minutes.
That's
No, you got to stay. You got to
Why?
stay
Okay.
and find out. So we'll start off the show next week. We'll tease it. Our fantasy questions, since everyone loves the fantasy questions. We'll get to them right before either picks or buy, sell, or hold. I like that idea. Tease
Absolutely.
it. We'll tease
We'll have
it.
a whole half past the fantasy hour. How about that?
There you go.
Boom.
Something like that.
Book it. We have the segment done. Okay, here. And yes, this is my shirt for the podcast. How about that? Thank you to
I love it so much.
Creed Humphreys, #1 shirt maker or buyer. Yes, he has all of it. But yes, if you enjoyed our show, follow us. A lot of people did on TikTok here. YouTube for the Fan Network. You can watch us live or next day on that. TikTok for the Fan Network, Twitter and/or X for the Fan _ and Instagram for the Fan Football. Yeah, listen to us next day. Apple Podcast, Spotify, the whole 10 yards. You name it, we'll be on there. I got nothing else, gentlemen. Do you have anything else?
No, just thanks for the questions.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
everyone, thanks. Honestly, they're enjoyable as hell to answer too.
I wish we got them on StreamYard. We could pop them up and all that stuff. I
yeah.
don't have access to getting that, so
On YouTube, if you ask on YouTube, we could put it up.
yeah, YouTube and Twitter we can.
Yeah, but always welcome because it's a little different dynamic. It gives us some things to think about. A little bit different, so it's fun. It's definitely fun.
Yeah, I got nothing else. So, gentlemen, yeah, next 16 games are on tap. We have all that stuff going on, and hey, gentlemen, we're gonna have a lot of fun watching football this weekend. Everyone enjoy, follow. Well, every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Every Wednesday, we're live, half past the fantasy hour. You can ask all your fantasy questions, all your fantasy ones. We will answer them. We'll stay late, open early, stay late. Whatever the sign is on Dom's bar there. Come early, stay late.
Same
know
bad
what it is.
time, same bad channel.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm Will. That's Colton. That's Jake. And that's Dom. And we are For the Fan. Tune in every Wednesday. Live everywhere.
Good luck in fantasy. Except for Will. Not
Fuck
good.
you, Dom. I didn't even click end yet.
It doesn't matter.
Thank you for